News with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Okay, and make a deal with you. I'm going to use the word grim to describe the first two stories, but they're not grim milestones.
All right.
They have nothing to do with COVID as far as I know. A couple of grim stories, though. Singer Bobby Brown's 28-year-old son, Bobby Brown Jr., has died. He passed away in Encino Wednesday afternoon. One of 7 of Brown's kids. He, as you might remember, Brown lost his daughter, Bobby Christina, 5 years ago. I think that was 2 years after Whitney died, the same way Bobby Christina died. Right now for Bobby Brown Jr., there's no reason given for the death yet, but nobody suspects foul play.
So it seems like there's some addiction in that family. And
some.
You leave it alone, and you can make it to 28, but eventually it catches you.
Yeah.
I
I don't mean to laugh and be crass, but like this always bothered me when that show was on the air, it was popular, and it was like, oh, what a train wreck! They're such a mess. Watch those, like a lot of those people are gonna fucking die. Those people you're watching.
Everyone said the same thing about Anna Nicole Smith.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. What a mess. What a hot mess. It's like, no, she's dying in front of your eyes.
Yeah, it's kind of like we always kind of talk about when a guy would get concussed in the NFL. And look, he got his bell rung.
Yeah, he's shaking off the cobwebs.
He's walking to the wrong huddle. Look at him.
He got jacked up.
I know. We had a very weird relationship with head trauma and with substance abuse. It's the same in addiction. It's kind of the same thing. You're laughing because the person's doing something that seems nutty or out of control because they're either concussed.
Look, they can't stand up.
Or they're dying of an addiction. Yeah.
Yeah. It's tasteless.
I don't have the story in front of me, but I think this is it. Speaking of that, I was going to mention to you the other day, we did a story that 2 teens are being charged with manslaughter after they sucker punched a kid, like another classmate, and it killed him.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So, we've talked about like those head traumas. I think they're 13 years old and they're being charged with manslaughter.
I've been talking about that for a long time, and no one seems to care, I guess, but Rick Moranis. But like people coming up and socking people in the fucking head when they're walking down, New York. They're in New York City, and it's the Hasidic Jew guy comes walking by, and you just whack him. Getting punched.
Why don't we take a 5-minute break?
Getting punched will fuck you up, but when you go down,
you free fall on your head,
and your shoulder blades hit first, and then your head whips back onto the cement. That will fucking kill you. Like, it's this thing that's like, it becomes some sort of game, but, and no doubt those guys saw it on the internet or saw it on the news or whatever it is, but Jesus Christ, it's going on a lot. And it's like, they're coming up behind them and shit. This isn't like an after school fight. This is just guys coming up behind you.
Well, yeah, there's no honor in this one. It's not everybody meet at 3:00 by the bike rack. This is, like you said, a complete sucker punch. This story is one boy hit this kid, Diego, in the face, then punched him in the side of the head, and he fell backwards and hit his head against a concrete pillar. So they're being charged with voluntary manslaughter.
Where is it? Where did this take place?
Moreno Valley.
Oh, boy.
Moreno Valley.
What did they have? Were the kids like... Was it totally random, or they have some beef with the kid?
It looks like this kid that ended up dying had been bullied and harassed on social media, and they were just kind of picking on him.
They saw a weaker kid and decided to pick on him.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
I hate that, too. Speaking of weaker kids, I had to go pick up Sonny at school today. COVID protocol, like he had like a temperature or something.
Ooh. Is he okay?
Seems okay. Made him steak and eggs when we got home. Yeah, fucking polish that shit off.
What a life.
He eats like a king.
You can't go get him from he's like in a separate room, and I'm, of course, doing I don't want to get out of the fucking car. Just send him out. No,
he's like in the airlock and then the spaceship.
The hatch.
You have to come get him. And I'm like, I'll just pull up and honk the horn. No, you got to come get him. So then I had to go to the nurse's office, and then the nurse, he's not in the nurse's office. He's somewhere else. And then once you clear it in the nurse's office, then he can be released from captivity wherever he was. And
it's a hostage exchange.
Yeah, so now
let me see my guy.
He seems fine. Yeah. I don't know what kind of temperature he had, but he seems fine. But now Natalia doesn't want to come into the house because she thinks he's got the COVID. So that's going to be a fun evening.
You're going to have to do a pop-up tent in the backyard.
I was going to say, she's camping out back.
A yurt.
I'm such a weirdo. I had to put the mask on to walk him to go onto the campus
school,
and
of
go.
course.
As soon as we got in my car, his mask and my mask both came off, and that kid's diseased. So see. I also gave him a kiss on the lips before he left this morning.
Wow,
so I
tempting
don't know.
fate.
Typhoid Sonny.
Is he gonna get a COVID test? Is that part of the protocol?
I guess. We'll have to work that one out. I don't think
they go pretty far in the nose, man.
I don't think they told him to get a test, although I should ask him. All right, we'll figure it out.
Sweet quarantine for 14 days.
Oh my God.
See you in a fortnight.
Oh, he would love that. Yeah. All right.
Well, one more sad story. So Naya Rivera, we remember that story of her drowning. Her ex-husband Ryan Dorsey has filed a wrongful death. I would
Wait a minute.
love
Her
Garagus's
son drowned, right?
No, she drowned.
Oh,
she saved the kid.
She got him back on.
Yeah.
She got him back on the pontoon or whatever. She just sort of slipped under the water. I would love Garagus's take on this. So Ryan Dorsey's her ex-husband. He's filed a wrongful death suit following her passing. So
against the kid.
Yes. No, on behalf of Josie, the 5-year-old. So they're suing Ventura County, California, where she drowned, the United Water Conservation District, and the county's Parks and Recreation Management for wrongful death and negligent infliction of emotional distress. According to Us Weekly, the family's complaint alleges that Rivera's death was preventable and that the boat she and Josie had rented from Lake Piru did not comply with U.S. Coast Guard safety standards. The documents also cite other fatal accidents on Lake Piru and claim there wasn't a single sign anywhere warning of the lake's dangerous currents.
Adam, didn't you have a thing about Garagus where you were your next thing is suing bodies of
the water?
Yeah, it's going to sue the Pacific Ocean.
Well,
that's a good
start small. Do Lake Piru.
All right. Well, I'll see him tomorrow actually because we're doing a live Reasonable Doubt at West Palm Beach at the Improv. So we'll be doing our show live tonight and stand up later, but for the late show. But I'll ask him. We'll bring it up.
If the boat didn't have the right number of life jackets, for example, that's you can sue over that violation, right?
Well, and I think there's something to be said that so many people die in that lake. Maybe they need to come up with something. But suing the water conservation, who knows? So that's a good Garagus question. Some hot ball news in a year lacking any true superstars. It was kind of fitting. I don't even know if you guys knew. I'm sure you did. That the NBA draft was a very low-key live streamed event. And probably the biggest question was where LaMelo Ball was going to go. And he is going to the Charlotte Hornets. He had the number 3 pick. He and his older brother Lonzo are now the only 2 siblings who've both been drafted in the top 5. And the Minnesota Timberwolves used their number 1 pick to take shooting guard Anthony Edwards. He's from University of Georgia.
Goose?
Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly. I said, damn, he's quite the Renaissance man.
Where did, Ball, what did he go, 5th or something? 3rd?
They just said.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
He went 3rd.
Oh, okay.
And Lonzo, I don't know where Lonzo went, but they both went in the top 5.
Do you think
Lonzo was 2nd?
Do you think the Timberwolves, who chose not, and the Warriors for that matter, who chose not to draft Ball 1st or 2nd, just didn't want to be part of the circus? I mean, there is some baggage that comes along with the Ball family, as we experienced firsthand.
Ball baggage.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I would imagine that in any organization, first and foremost is the ability of the player, as we have seen Terrell Owens and guys like that are sort of locker room poison, but they make their way around the league. And,
Antonio Brown?
Yeah, just the guys, if you can go out there and perform on Sunday or whenever game day is, that'll be first. But if it's going to be a coin toss, if it's kind of between this guy and that guy, and, one parent is the ball and the other parent, teaches classical piano or something, I got to believe that's going to factor in.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And says, you know best.
Yeah.
You take care of him.
Yeah.
You know.
What do I know about basketball?
That's right.
Right. One other piece of sports news. Are you familiar with Robinson Cano? Cano. Thank you.
Pretty sure.
For the Mets. He is suspended for the entire 2021 season because he tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs, and it's his second violation. The first time, so he's going to be suspended without pay for a full year. And he was with the Yankees. He was with the Mariners. He first failed a PED in 2018. That cost him 80 games. And following that season, he was traded to New York, where his play declined dramatically. But during COVID and the shortened season, 60 games, he started to look more like his old self. And he's 38. He still has 2 years remaining on his 10-year contract, but he ain't playing next year.
It's weird how much of in this life, whether it's, 3 strikes and you're out, and it's always the guy was stealing a bag of Doritos and now he's going back to jail. Like, are out millions of dollars with your major league contract. It's pretty weird how people, when you have to say to someone, hey, don't do this thing, they mostly always do it again.
Yeah.
And I guess if you have to say it, then that means it's going to happen again. Like, I don't know. Most people that I've spoken to in my life about, hey, don't do this or don't let this happen again or you're late all the time, stop being late. They don't take 2 weeks off. They're late like 2 days later. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what that commitment is to whatever this thing is that you already got busted for, but you shall be busted again. It'd be nice if people kind of went, okay, lesson learned. Not going to, it's like recidivism with prisoners. Like, everyone goes out, gets right back into crime, goes right back to prison.
Right.
Like, what didn't you learn about being in that god-awful place for 7 years that would make you want to go right back? And what makes you think you're impervious to being busted? You did get busted multiple times. Like, you think
They're watching you.
You think you got it out of your system? I mean, I feel like you were in prison because you were caught. We have established that you're catchable.
But this gamble...
sorry, go ahead, Gina.
Well, this gamble seems like one he was willing to take because it says his play declined. He sucked, and he was like, well, I can't do it any other way. So shoot me up, I'll roll the dice.
Well,
we talked.
But how much of it you think is... There's got to be... Baseball is so psychological, and once you're on the stuff, like, I don't know... Maybe you're taking Viagra and you don't need Viagra, but then once the Viagra gets taken away, now what?
My jumbo feather.
Yeah, you're up in your own head now, right?
Yeah, this kind of touches on our conversation from, was it yesterday about psychology? Yesterday, the day before, we talked about psychology a lot. Like, I hadn't followed Robinson Cano's career that closely in the last few years, but how much did he need it? Was it a lifestyle? Did he convince himself that he needed it? Was his play declining? Was it a combination? How much of it was psychological, like we were saying?
Well, now, as soon as you're off the juice, you got to, every time you walk to the plate, you got to think to yourself, I'm not on this juice, and maybe you're fucking yourself up more than, again, than just not having it in your system. There's got to be a big psychological dynamic. All right, Gina, what else?
We'll have a year to think about it. A year off. Big Alec Baldwin, Kelsey Grammer news. They're teaming up for a new comedy series coming to ABC next fall. According to a press release obtained by People, 20 Television is the studio behind the project. It'll be spearheaded by Modern Family's co-creator Chris Lloyd, and it doesn't have a title yet, but it's said to follow 3 men, 2 are Baldwin and Grammer, and they're who were roommates in their 20s until they fell out. The series will focus on when they reunite years later. They don't have a third actor yet to be cast, but
this is a Carolla part.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is...
Oh, baby doll.
If I know Baldwin, this is a pure money grab. 100,000% just a big fat money grab. They must have... They backed up the Brinks trucks for those two. When that Brinks truck was backing up, it hit another Brinks truck, which is trying to get up the driveway. Like, there's no fucking way either one of these guys wouldn't do it without just massive amounts of money. So, which is fine. I mean, that's
no shame.
He got into Match Game. Match Game pays him oodles of money. And
what are we talking?
God,
Ballpark.
I think I'd heard once. Well, first things first, they gang tape those things, as you know, as I know. And I think they'll do like 5 in a day. I think I did maybe 5 in a day, at least 4. And so it's basically you got to come into the studio and you work like 8 long days and you get $11 million. You know, it's like that kind of a that kind of a payday. You know,
Deal.
It's not just the big payday; it's the gang tape, spread them out. You know, that kind of thing. Like it is 2017. It was reported $3 million for 2017, but they probably renewed it and probably upped it.
That ain't
and
bad.
it ain't. It's a lot of fucking money for not really a lot. I mean, he does a great job at it, and I think he's, you know, seeing as I've been there for 10 of them, he seems like he's having fun with it, and he invites people on that he likes and that kind of stuff. But it is, you know, he would be teaching acting at NYU or on some NPR whatever thing, and he does a lot of that stuff. But this has got to be just pure money.
For both, because this is not my world, so you'll have to forgive me. Actually, Brian, you might have the answer to this, but I don't. Wasn't Kelsey Grammer's wife or ex-wife on Real Housewives? And wasn't there
I wouldn't
some sort
know,
of
but are you talking about Camille Grammer on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Yes, they divorced during the 4th season.
Thank you. So perhaps he's looking to recoup some expenses as well.
Yeah, I think he's. Oh, obviously, it's a big money grab for both of them. I don't know Kelsey Grammer.
If James Woods was cast as the third actor, I would tune in. I would tune the fuck in.
Yeah. We'll get him on this show one of these days. We'll get James on.
He's a fan.
Oh, yes.
Said he was a fan. All right. What else we got, Gina?
So after being grounded for nearly 2 years following a pair of crashes which killed 346 people, Boeing 737 MAX jets are about to get the green light again, go back into the air. Boeing has worked to re-engineer the jet after the company was forced to ground 800 of them in March of last year. The FAA appears to ready to allow the plane to resume flying again beginning next month. American Airlines is the first U.S. carrier to return them. That flight's being scheduled. It's the first scheduled flights for December 29th from Miami to New York.
Well, I'd wait for the second flight. And also, you know, when you're on the blower and you're announcing, you know, get the seatbelts on and in-flight, Wi-Fi, I would keep that one on the down low. Like, I wouldn't be going, hey, good news, everybody. This is the first flight after being
welcome, one and all.
After being
maiden voyage
deemed too dangerous, not airworthy. They said. Well, that was a scant 26 months ago, but look at us now. Yeah.
You know why this wouldn't bother me actually to fly on, like, at all? I'd be happy to fly that flight because it have like the one problem. And since that one problem's been identified, I'm not worried about that happening. In fact, this is probably the safest plane in the air.
Well, you know, it's true in that it's kind of like when I was flying just after 9/11 and everyone was freaked out to fly. It's like that's probably the safest time to fly. The terrorists don't go, we got a really big plane-related terrorist action on Monday, and then we got another one planned for Wednesday. Like that's about it for a decade or more. You know what I mean? If you're planning something, once the dust settles on the first disaster, you're probably good after that. That's probably, and you're right. This plane has been gone over like, you know, a president getting a physical, right? Like there is probably nothing, no more scrutinized bird in the air out of the, 400,000 commercial planes that are sitting somewhere right now. This one has been gone over with a jeweler's loop. So, yeah. That being said, I wouldn't fucking do it.
Yeah, Adam, when we went to Texas, our first shows once the pandemic hit, we would go to LAX, and the place was like a museum. It was just entirely dead. If you saw anybody, they were wearing those full hazmat suits. And I remember people going to me and going, I can't believe you're flying right now. And I thought, this is probably the safest it will ever be just because of how overboard everybody's going to be taking this.
Right.
And now when we fly, it's actually like, it's just everybody's just wearing the face mask, and there's a ton more people. And I think they're even seating the center seats now. So
I kind of judge everything by traffic in terms of like, is the populace heeding the warnings and staying home. And when I was driving home from the studio yesterday, it was wall-to-wall traffic on both sides of the 101. Like, people are out.
There's rush hour again.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because we're going to be at the airport today as you hear this. I bet it'll be quite a bit more busy.
It's definitely been getting busier each time we've gone.
For those of you who don't like traffic and don't like crowds at the airport, but do like to get out, it's been kind of nice blowing through these airports.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what else we got, Gina?
Well, Zoom is taking pity on the people who aren't going to see each other for Thanksgiving this year. So they're lifting their timed meeting limit on Thanksgiving so the gatherings don't cut short. Because
it's the one time we need the time limit.
That's right.
True.
Oh, 45 minutes is up. So sorry.
If you don't pay, then you get 40 minutes.
There you go.
But the video communication company said that they'll lift that from midnight on Thursday for 24 hours. And usually, I mean, it's not free. It's from $150 to $200 per year. You do get unlimited minute meetings. But for Thanksgiving, if you're going to sit your little laptop up while, you eat your yams with somebody else on the other side of the country, you can do it for as long as you want.
How did we all simultaneously agree on Zoom in, mid-February of this year? Like, I hadn't heard much about Zoom. Right. I didn't hear people saying, well, we'll have a Zoom meeting or we'll Zoom somebody in. They'd say conference call or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, everything got locked down and everyone's like, yeah, we're doing the Zoom. But
I give Vinny Tortorich credit. We've been Zooming for a couple of years now.
Did everybody? So, but it doesn't seem spread out. It's like this company, that company. It's like everyone just went. It's like Twitter. It's like everyone just went, boom, we're Zooming.
Yeah, I mean, you can do Google Teams or whatever, FaceTime.
Christie's company does Microsoft Teams.
Oh,
right.
They do.
Yeah. And we do that at work too. But
that's contracted with them.
Zoom is the new Google because it's the new verb. Oh, let me Google that. We'll Zoom tomorrow.
But Adam, your question is great because why Zoom and why not Skype? Why not FaceTime? You know what I mean? Like why this?
This has the best stability.
Not only that, but everybody seemed to be aware of it and agreed upon it immediately. Right. It was this, we're going to Zoom in this guy. And it's like, okay, well, I guess that's what we'll do. Like we'd been doing it for 5 years with a bunch of, but for me, I was like, what's Zoom? Well, here it is.
I think the reason we chose it here was, I mean, obviously it is good video chat, but it has a one-click join, and we have a lot of guests on the show, and I don't want to have to teach them how to use all these other programs, so I could just send them a link, they click it, and they're in, and that was really nice.
Find the kids' TV show Zoom. You guys remember that bad boy?
Mm-hmm. The Zoom room.
They had a song which wasn't really the height of creativity, but it was like, we're going to Zoom. We're going to Zoom. We're going to Zoom. It's the biggest cop-out in the world when you write a song, and it's not quite, there are no other lyrics other than we're going to Zoom. We're going to Zoom.
Smarter.
We're going to Zoom. It was like a Saturday, like electric company kind of weird TV show. One of the many things that made my childhood fucking miserable. WGBH from Boston. What year did Zoom come out?
I'll find out in a second.
This is too new. Oh, the 70s version. Yeah, all right. So let's
Ooh.
We're gonna zoom, 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 zoom.
We're gonna zoom, zoom.
Everybody's doing it, everybody's moving it, everybody's making the show. Yeah, so won't you zoom, 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 zoom.
Kids are so gay.
Zoom, zoom. I'm Laura. I'm Joe.
This did not make it to the Bay Area.
I'm Bernadette. Who are you? What do you do? We need you. We're gonna zoom, 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 zoom.
You haven't seen him. This was from the Eastern Bloc, I believe you.
Here's basically. I had the same relationship with these fucking TV shows as I did with the free lunch ticket cafeteria slop I would get in the 6th grade. It's like, well, what else are you going to do? It's like, this is the worst fucking hot dog I've ever. This hot dog is gray. This hamburger tastes weird. These beans are old. The corn's all watery. Everything's a fucking disaster. But the answer was, so then what? You
Go to the cafeteria next door?
You're going to In-N-Out? No.
Yeah.
All right. You want to go eat some sand? No. All right. Would you like to read a book? No. Well, there's a show called Zoom. What's that? Bunch of fucking hippie kids running in a circle, giving their name. Well, that sounds boring as shit. Did you want to read a book? Let me ask you again. No. All right.
I said no.
Well, Zoom is not about anything, and it's boring as fuck, and the kids are talentless, but you're not reading a book, and there's people moving. There's things. They move, and there'll be sound coming out of that little speaker on the Zenith, so it'll be like you have a friend. You have Zoom info?
Yeah, so Zoom went from 1972 to 78, a half-hour educational TV program created almost entirely by children. It inspired shows like Sesame Street and The Electric Company, but it designed... But designed
Wait,
to give...
it inspired them?
No, inspired by.
Thank you.
Sorry, but designed to give the kids who watched it a voice without adults on screen. It was, for the most part, unscripted.
You don't say.
Far from seeking to make stars of the child performers, their contracts prohibited them from making any TV appearances or doing commercials for 3 years after they left the show.
Wow, because that chubby chick Mara is a superstar. I can't believe they held her down. Jesus Christ. That's the shit I had to watch. By the way, kid shows made by adults suck. You can only imagine what kid shows made by kids. That's one of those great 70s ideas. Like, it's a kid show, but it's all done by kids. It's like, that's awesome.
Sounds good.
We're going to start an airline with all children pilots. Sounds cool, right?
All kids dentistry.
Yeah, right. Like, ugh. Zoom obviously wasn't heavily scripted, thus the Zoom theme song. We're gonna zoom, we're gonna zoom, we're gonna zoom. See if you can find a sketch, if there's even such a vignette.
Oh, good.
While you do that,
Zoom.
here's when you would lament the entertainment of your childhood. Here's how I know you're not exaggerating, because I didn't come around that much longer after that, and none of these survived 5-7 years into like syndication or something. No. I'd never heard of Zoom. When you go on about like with like a Land of the Lost or something, and like I don't have any concept of what the fuck that is, because it wasn't good enough to like be around 5 years later. Mm-hmm. Like at least like the G.I. Joes and Transformers of my childhood have a life now because there was something interesting about them.
Well, and like the 70s sitcoms, I can tell you every Brady Bunch, Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, because those went into heavy syndication. But yeah, the Land of the Lost, that's all that I know nothing.
Well, there's the Bugaloos too, but
outside of this show, I've never seen a frame of those things you talk about.
Well, maybe there was something more nefarious afoot. Like maybe they were trying to get me to read a book.
Right.
Like my hand would start shaking. It would slide toward the book, then I'd grab it back and put it on my lap, and then I'd hear the kids doing another sketch that all the kids wrote, and I'd be like, this close to opening a book, and like maybe they were trying to force you to get out of the house and get some exercise and read a book or do or build something with the Lincoln Logs or something, because the stuff I used to have to, and you're completely at the mercy of the TV set, because obviously no TiVo and no recordings and no anything. Mm-hmm. You just sat there and watched Zoom. You have a Zoom rejoin or back.
Oh boy. Yep, here we go.
Dialing the phone.
Babas. Wubble. Double lobbins. Babas. So back to Zoom.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
Am I having a stroke?
Rejoin
Did everyone
bumper.
hear that?
Back
No,
to the show. Oh.
I know the structure of what that was. I don't know what that was trying to accomplish.
Yeah. 80% of it wasn't English. Like, I don't.
This is what happens when you let kids write a kid's show. And it was also part of the 70s, kind of kids express themselves like you're adults too. It was all blah.
Do you guys remember?
Also, I have
Yeah.
the same brain, you know. I got the same brain I got now. It's not even like if it was just a fucking dumb kid, like an 11-year-old, like a regular kid, they would have been bored and angry. I was super agitated and super pissed off. Like, what the fuck is this? I was 11, like screaming at the TV set because I got the same brain, you know.
Screaming, I got notes.
Well, we were lucky enough to have like Nickelodeon and the Disney Channel and all that stuff. That
Embarrassment
really,
of riches.
but do you guys remember You Can't Do That on Television?
Yeah.
Alanis Morissette was on it.
Oh, right.
That was fantastic. And I say that as a child watching it. I haven't seen it, but it's all Canadian. And it was these
right.
kids, and it was like laughing for kids. And at least there was something that was trying, you know, like a sketch comedy show.
Max Batter, remind me to do a kids show written by the elderly.
Yeah, that's
So we can get something decent in there. We're gonna zoom. We're gonna zoom.
Please.
We're gonna zoom. Ugh.
That intro was like 4 minutes long.
Well, they had no content for the show. Ugh. Okay. It was like being punished. My childhood was like I was being tortured. All right. What else we got?
Well, let's if your only friend was the kids from Zoom, Japan can help you with that. And I think we have a video to show you here.
They got
Scientists
like a
in
robot
Japan.
friend or something?
Oh, weirder. Much weirder. Scientists in Japan have developed a robot, wait for it, hand for single guys to walk around with that
Ew.
stimulates the holding of a woman's hand. It squeezes your palm. It even sweats. It produces some sort of moisture. So we're showing you a video of how he's wearing it. So you feel like you're holding hands with another human being.
You know, it's got to be weird when you're like sitting around and planning this stuff out. Like, we're going to make a hand. It sweats. It feels just like a woman's touch. You know, so for fellas on the subway, they don't feel lonely. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah,
got to
a
be
disembodied hand to keep
gotta-
them company.
there's got to be someone at that meeting going, "We're talking about a jack buddy, right?" No.
No. This
No,
is like-
how dare you?
Like you'd go to the opera, but you don't have a date.
Right. It's a companion.
Yeah, but what happens when you get home from the opera?
We can charge it
Well,
up.
that's your
obviously.
business.
Does it need to sweat? Couldn't I just spit in it?
You don't appreciate that it produces its own lubrication?
I'm just saying. I don't think I'm twisted. I think guys are going to buy this thing for one reason and one reason only.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be security and comfort while they're taking a walk through the woods. This
You can
is
apply it to your shoulder, you know, the hand on your shoulder.
this is going downstairs. This is immediately
Oh, the knee?
going.
On your
There.
knee?
Can we just call it what it is so we can...
I got it. Foot massager. I understand.
Oh.
We all love it.
All right, can I take the prototype back this weekend just to put it through its paces?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, we know
A little
QC.
R&D.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I'll keep it in a warm, dry place. I'll make sure and wipe it down real good before I bring it back.
And remember, it really it applies a lot of pressure because we really like if you're in a time of turmoil, that hand can squeeze
Yeah,
pretty
it
hard.
needs-
So
yeah, it needs
watch
the
out
grip.
when you're holding hands with it. Yeah, we don't want it to rip any of your appendages off.
Oh, okay. Yeah. How we doing with that adapter, that spinner adapter for the... were we working on that, or was that just something I was thinking about?
I think you may have been just thinking that. I don't remember.
Oh,
Yeah, do
that
tell.
coming
All right,
from
well,
me.
then
I didn't get
scratch.
that memo.
Scratch the spinner lube adapter. All right, Gina, let's do one more.
All right. Well, who doesn't love a dollar store? Apparently, some people don't like the dollar store because they think it's cheap because it's only $1, or there's some sort of shame fog surrounding a dollar store that they just don't feel secure and they don't feel cool when they're in a dollar store. So there is an option. The dollar store is now going high end. to the $5 store because apparently that's just more people's speed.
It's called Big Lots.
You just lost my parents.
They're opening a line of stores, Dollar General's opening a line of Pop Shelf. That will be higher end items. Pop Shelf. Everything will be sold for around $5. The first two are opening in Nashville, and they're going to open 30 more around the country by the end of next year. And I got to tell you, I'm intrigued.
I'm going to pick up the box set of Zoom over there for $5. Still, if you're going out on a first date and you're bragging about your, FICO score, probably shouldn't work in that you've graduated from the dollar store to the $5 store. I don't think that's a panty dropper, is it, Gina?
No, but remember, what was the other one? You compared two things. One was having your grocery store scanner on your keychain, and what was the other one?
Yeah, it was the gym membership.
No.
The Uber sticker on your car.
It was Uber sticker.
Uber sticker.
Yeah, because gym membership's
yes.
good. It's a Ralph's Club card from the keychain or Uber sticker on your car in terms of freaking the ladies out.
Right. Dries you up faster.
All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
That was the news with Gina Grad.